What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Toronto. I'll probably have a ginger beer tonight. You just reminded me. Should probably go get it, huh? Jet fuel. That, my friends, is jet fuel. Okay? That's that ether. That's that jet fuel. I have to drink like a lot of water to level it out. So, do you even do something with your life? No. No way, bro. Nothing at all. I don't do anything at all. Yeah. I want to say, I see a lot of people hit me up, a lot of weight, like a lot of desperation for prayer. And I do want to say, like, my heart is as devoted to you guys, the broken, and all the issues of the world as it possibly could be, I think, for what I know and who I am today. But that's kind of what these lives are, is like, it's a blessing. I am praying for all the viewers. God is with you. I think that's the point, is that, like, I let you know that God is with you. And so, yeah. But if I took a direct moment to, like, pray for each and every person, I wouldn't be able to do it. So, but I want you to know that God is with you. And more than my specific prayer, He is with you. He's with you. He's with you. He's with you. And there's so many promises in the Bible that you need to lean on them so that you can get through this tough time honorably, right? Nope, it's not real. Hey guys, give me 1 second. Someone reminded me of my ginger beer, and I'm gonna go get it. So I'll be right back. What's up? They are fire. I like the way they burn. I like the way they burn. You live in the Bay Area? I don't know anyone off the top of my mind right now, but we can ask tonight. So TikTok, his name is Brother Liam, and he's asking if he can get a ride from the Bay Area to LA. If anybody's going from the Bay Area to LA, get a hold of brother Liam. He wants a ride. It's vodka. No, I'm kidding. It's not. It's a ginger beer. I don't know if you've ever had it. They're really good. Yeah, I don't know what God's gonna do tonight. Yeah, I don't drink either. I haven't drinking alcohol in a long time. Like a really long time. I was like a heavy drinker until heroin came around. And then there was like a few years while I was messing with heroin that like I would drink a lot. But once I got addicted to heroin, it was just pretty much strictly a focus on that, like that level of like partying. Because like heroin addiction's not partying at all. It's just miserable. Like it's not fun. It's fun at first, and then it's just miserable. We're gonna do a lot of things. I'm gonna go to all over the place. I'm just waiting on God, guys. I'm just waiting on the Lord. Hey, you're a cool guy, Carter. Non-alcoholic, yeah. Yeah, it's non-alcoholic. It's I think it's brewed the way that they brew beer. So that's why it's called a beer. But it's non-alcoholic and it's just like heavy ginger. It's like much more gingery than a like a ginger ale or something. It's like way more. It's like spicy. Do I work on cars? I've worked on some cars. I can show you guys some cars I worked on or I built. Maybe. Maybe. Let's see. Okay, let me in. All right, 1 second here. I will show you guys some pictures. Maybe. How's everybody doing? How's everybody going out there, guys? I'm still going through it. Still going through it quite a bit. As far as just deep revelation, but it's been good. I tell you what, it has been good. Okay. It's been really good. Deep dives into spiritual things. I tell you what, I don't know what to say about it. I wish I could just like scream it constantly, but I don't know. God keeps revealing to me in these like really, really deep ways that is so difficult for me to properly describe, that he's coming back now and like that he's made his decision to do it now. And he's just been unfolding like the urgency. He's just been breaking down how deep the enemy's got their hands in the world and like his fearfulness, like how scary. And so it's just like in deep ways that I think part of like not being able to explain it is what's causing me to be so viciously slammed by it, because it's like he's sealing it up. There's so much that he's showing me that feels sealed up. Why do I say sealed up? Because I just can't, I don't have words for it. And then when I try to talk about it, it just seems impossible for me to describe what I experienced in a way that would, so, but what I know is it's now, like viciously now, like now. So we just gotta get right, guys, and we just need to do it. So I was gonna show you guys some pictures. That's weird. Why did that? Demons, bro. When you guys are watching content, all day long, God's showing me how different principalities are attaching. You'll get songs stuck in your head, or you'll get content stuck in your head, or you get a video stuck in your head. That's literally that spirit baptizing you in itself. And that's something really intense God's been covering me with. All right, are we finally here or what? Hey, I got 108,000 subscribers on Facebook. Wow, that's cool. Pictures. Where's my pictures at? Why can't I find the pictures? Photos, right there. All right. Okay, here we go. Okay, here is like, I'll show one side at a time, but here's like a little 42 Chevy pickup I built, and 42 Chevy I built. It was kind of like God put that truck together. If you could see, because like old vehicles, when they painted it, they would paint it with a brush. They didn't paint it with a air spray, right? They painted it with a brush. So when it would start getting rusty, you could see the brush strokes in the patina. And I just happened, like, I got the bed, the two rear fenders, the foot panels, like the running boards, and the cab are all from different vehicles, but they all were these perfect black with the perfect patina where you could see the brush strokes in it. So like the bed is actually from a Dodge, even though it's a Chevy, but like you cannot tell. So I left it with the patina. I thought it was a sweet little like pickup truck, cool shop truck type thing, you know? And then I got rid of it. That last time I went to jail on the false accusation, while I was in jail, my dad sold it, and obviously God wanted him to sell it. I'm cool with it. I wouldn't have finished it, but it had a brand new small block 400 in it, brand new, and I just put like power steering and boosted brakes and all that. So it was sweet. I did like a C-notch, and it was on coilover springs with four link and coilover springs. So it was like a stiff, like drifting type truck. It was a sweet truck, dude. Like it was cool. So I built that one. This is a 32 Ford that we have here. 32 Ford that I have been working on for a while. I bought this car, sold it, doubled my money, and then I bought that 32 Ford cab. And the cab was so nice that we just started buying parts for it, and we have like a complete truck. But it's not in, complete running condition. Okay, here is my first vehicle. I'm going to show you guys my first car. This is an older picture. That was my first car. a 1969 Volkswagen Bug. This is specifically my late aunt, so my favorite aunt who died out of nowhere. Like, she went to work one day, and then by the next week, 1 week later, she was sick in the hospital and died, like, super quick. And I was in jail when she died, and it hurt really bad. And I got to say goodbye to her, but that was it. And this was her car that she had in my grandpa's backyard for like 30 years. My cousin Philip was a baby. He's older. He's like 40 something. And he was a baby in this Volkswagen. And I pulled it out of my grandpa's backyard and stripped it down and did the Bondo work. And I was like 14 to 16, 17, 18 years old in there. From the time that I built it, I rebuilt the whole engine, and it was sweet, a brand new little sweet truck car. So that was my first car. And then, let's see, I got, this one's cool. You guys will like this one. This is a 69 Chevy. 69 Chevy I built. And that one, I built not very long. I built it kind of around the times that I had like fallen into, it was like I finished it like right around the time I got my neck tattoo, if that helps you understand. So I was like driving around. Yeah. But I bought it. Check this out. I bought that truck from the dude right down the street that I grew up with, which there was like some sexual things that happened with older people in that house to me 2 times in my life. So 2 whole different families living in the same house, and in that exact same house, it's this brick stone house down the street, I was like sexually taken advantage of as a child by older people, by 2 whole completely families in the same house. And I bought this truck from a new family that was living in that same house, and it had all this Freemason stuff in it, all these Freemason stickers and logos all inside of it. And like I told you guys, I grew up in a Freemason town. So I bought this truck, and it wasn't dropped. It didn't have white walls. It didn't have C notches. It didn't have airbags in it. It didn't have none of that. I bought it for $3,000. And like 6 months later, I sold it for 14 grand to some like cholo dude from Denver who bought it as a tribute to his son that died. And yeah, so yeah, here's another car I've had. I didn't build this one. I bought and sold this one, but yeah. So people ask me if I was a car guy. Oh, this is that roster I was talking about that you guys have heard me talk about. This is the only evidence I have left of this roster, and it is a roster of the officers of subordinate chapters, grand officers. So it was this Freemason book that I found from my wife's great grandfather's collection of stuff, who was a master Mason. And in this book, the front half of it had the names, rank, what lodge. So for every single lodge in the state of Colorado, at least there was literally like 5 lodges for every city in Colorado. And so for every lodge, there was like 4 people listed in every lodge. It would say where the lodge was, what it was called, what number the lodge was. And then underneath that, it would have 4 high-ranking members of that lodge. And it would have them listed. It had their names, and it had their addresses, and it had their rank. And I had that book, and that was in the front. And I saw with my own eyes that my wife's great-grandfather's name was in there as the master mason in the Colburn Lodge in 1970. It was either 76 or 78. Is one of the, I can't remember exactly. So it's a certainty that he was a master mason. It wasn't just like he was a mason. No, he was the grand master of the Colburn Lodge. Interesting, man. They're messing with my numbers. I'm telling you, they are. I can see it. I can see Satan's just messing with me in the craziest ways. He has been. God has given me a window, like right into what's going on, and He is able to use like every little possible thing to mess with your guys' heads to get you discouraged, and it's really interesting. But anyways, in the back of this Masonic roster right here, and by the way, this symbol, okay, because all these witches in witchcraft covens all around America call me a fool because I say that this is a pentagram, okay? Or sometimes they have the pentagon around it with the circle around that, or sometimes just the circle. And they're like, it's not a pentagram, it's a pentacle, and where are you getting your sources from? You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, well, in these books, they called it a pentagram. So the ancient, affirmed, and accepted Masonic Lodge calls it a pentagram. So I don't know, maybe they twisted it up just to mess with everybody, but it's called a pentagram, guys. I don't know what to tell you. On top of that, the back of this book right here, this roster, this is where things get juicy, okay? At the time when I had this book, guys, I was like, I didn't see that God was going to use me in a mighty way. I just didn't know yet. And so I'm just reading this stuff and I'm just looking for like any information I could to like find some dirt on the Masonic Lodge. And I couldn't see that like the real dirt was right in front of me. So the back of this book it was like so the front part of the book was a roster and the back part of the book was like a phone book. It had names, ranks, addresses, and phone numbers. That was the weird thing about it, is it gave addresses and phone numbers to each person's name, what their rank was in the lodge, and then their civilian title. So if you wanted like a police officer to come to your house and you wanted a Mason, this book would tell you who to call, what Mason, what his rank was, and then if you wanted a specific plumber and you wanted a Mason, this book told you what company to call and what man, his name and his number. And I saw that. And at the time I was like, wow, this is crazy. And it was in like it was a book in 1976 or 1978. And so that's pretty intense, because what that shows is that there is this secret society of people inside every single thing we do, working in a way where they are communicating with each other continually with handshakes, sign signals, words, code words, continually right in front of us all of the time, and you guys just don't notice it. Teachers, doctors, lawyers, district attorneys, all of them especially. And so that's pretty intense, you know. That alone, okay, gives you grounds to start asking questions like, okay, so if they're meeting in secret, they have a whole society in secret, what do they think of the rest of us? What are some of their practices? What are these rituals? when they are doing a simple thing like swearing secrecy, what are they swearing to? According to who? And being bound by what? You know? And so when you start diving into like just the basic understanding of their structures, it is Luciferian perfected. It is like Lucifer is a fallen angel, and he was like, I'm going to create a body, a church of people, and they are going to be structured. They're going to have a language that's different than everyone else. They're going to stand up straight. They're going to be filled with pride. They're going to be filled with some sort of honor system. They're going to have to earn their way to the top, but it'll be very rewarding. And because of that, they're just going to mock, bash, slander, manipulate, destroy, give and take, add and minus, right? Kill and give life, because you're God, to the rest of the world. And that's just what it is. There's no way around it. So the eye of Horus is a parasite going into the eye. Is that what they say? The eye of Horus, Horus is an Antichrist symbol. So if you look into Horus, which by the way, like the Colorado state signet, I'll show it to you guys. I've shown it so many times, but I'll show it to you guys. Okay, so here is the Colorado state signet, okay? And if you zoom in, you have this eye above everything, okay? This is specifically the same eye. So you'll notice, like here's another one. Pay attention to like the way that it's kind of Egyptian, you know, very like the way they have that tail. They have that tail in their eyeliner. But let me show you the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill. So this one doesn't have that tail, right? This almost looks like they zoomed in to like Thomas Jefferson or something, right? And it doesn't have that tail. So there's something specific about that eye. And so this one is called the Eye of Horus. So you do have a difference there, right? There is a difference. And so it's more like the Eye of Horus. Okay. Well, Horus, when you look into him, he had like 12 disciples. Honestly, his ministry, at least by his religion, is like one of the most antichrist, like instead of Jesus religions there ever was. He was literally the Jesus of Egypt. He had like 12 disciples. He would heal people, like the whole 9 yards, right? So there's that. I want to try to, give me a second here, guys. Let me try to find some things real quick. Okay, 1 second. Give me 1 minute. I want to try to find a couple videos real quick. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing, newcomers? Okay. Now they're just not going to let me find it. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, let's see. Nashville. There's a Masonic temple in, it's either in Knoxville or Nashville, Tennessee. And it's like downtown. And when you go in it, it's filled with statues and paintings and stuff. And that's the one I'm always like trying to look for. But when I try to look for it, for whatever reason, I just have a hard time finding any like tours inside or photos inside. But I did watch this one guy go in there, him and like his crew. And he has a bit of like a conspiracy theory channel. And so like, obviously I'm not going to agree with everything he says and stuff. Like I'm faith-based and I'm just trying to like wake people up a little bit. Shut up! All right, I got to handle this. It's going to drive me nuts. Hey! Shut up, dude. Go inside. Come on. Okay, but anyways, Nashville, Tennessee, they have that Mason temple and you can do tours of it. So it's like not that secretive, right? But inside they have like tons of actual like statues of the gods, like many gods. They have things of like Horus and Ra and Dionysus. I even think I saw things of like maybe some of the like Roman or Greek gods like Zeus and things like that. Possibly things Norwegian in there. They just had like all the gods, and they were highly adored. They were up on the walls, and these statues, mostly Egyptian though. Mostly Egyptian statues. Like so, they had those ones that are like an animal and a woman, where she's like breasted, but she's like an animal. She's like sitting like the Sphinx. It's like a Sphinx, but a breasted Sphinx. And yeah, no, you can go in there. And the point of it is, guys, is it's like when you actually start looking into the lodge, this is what's going to happen. They have these walls they built up that they built these walls to try to disguise, even within their systems, the depth of how wicked they are. And so when you try to look into them, you're going to hear things like, oh, they're just a brotherhood or fraternity, and it's just about building oneself up. And you're going to hear about, charity work that they do, and that many of them are Christian. You're going to hear like they were just Christian. And that's fine. And it's probably true, But when you start getting like higher to like the 30th, 31st, 32nd, 33rd degree, we start seeing like a shift. And we find a lot of like Luciferian in nature things, right? And so whatever. But you guys know, without a doubt, that it's wicked. We know it in our hearts. Our spirits are telling us. Why would something that's righteous allow such conspiracy without ever straightening things up? And it's because it's worship to them. It's worship to them. It's when they like, this whole thing with Candace Owen, and she just did a debate with that fellow that's like really rude, and he just says the most outlandish stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about? Anybody see that? recently? Yeah, the name Lucifer is actually not in the Bible. Um, it's kind of like a name that's, I mean, it could be in certain translations, but it's not really like spoken as a name. There's a couple verses where God says like the morning star, or but he doesn't say it as a name. He says it as like what he was. So we've like added that name to him. We basically created this fallen one, this dragon, and we call him Lucifer. And he calls himself Lucifer. And yeah. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? That dude who Candace Owens. Let me Candace Owens just did a debate with that dude. Does anyone know? Yes, yes. Okay, that guy. That guy. All right. Yeah. So I've been on podcasts that dude, not Tucker Carlson, but the dude who's always on the I don't know, he's just always like saying really harsh, weird, foolish stuff about women. He's got a black short beard. Um, so that guy is a defiled man. Um, I'm not saying that in a way of like slander, rebuke. I am, but like not. No, I'm not saying like, oh, you're defiled, bro. I'm saying he is in the column of what is called the great defiled man. And I actually believe Candace Owens is in that column as well. And while I'm watching the debate, I can clearly see it's being ran by powers that at this point, I think both Candace Owens and that dude probably want like nothing to do with their lives anymore. I just want to like ask you guys, like, okay, so one thing that like this dude says things like this all the time, but he said there's one clip during this debate where they're getting into some sort of argument, and he posted that Erica Kirk was too retarded to be involved in her husband's death. So Candace Owens is like, oh, you think she's too retarded? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, what's your, like, they're getting in this stupid argument. She's like, what's your definitive evidence that she's too retarded? And he's like, well, I just think all women are retarded, is what he says. He says it just like that. Okay? You guys can clearly, like, if you want to know what I'm talking about the debate. I don't know his name. Okay? But Candace Owens just debated this dude. You can look it up. It would take 2 seconds. We're all on the internet. 2 seconds. I just can't right now because both my phones. I guess I could look it up on here. Andrew Wilson. So Candace Owens versus Andrew Wilson. That's who it is. All right. And this is kind of the ordeal. This is the debate that I'm talking about. You got Candace Owens over here. You got Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson is, let's see, let me look up Andrew Wilson so you guys know who I'm talking about. Okay, Andrew Wilson is
Pull it up, because it's banana. All you have
this
to
guy.
do is give me a single job that you think that men are not just as capable of women at doing, and I will do the same with men to you.
Okay, so I think people Just so you guys know who I'm talking about, okay? Candace Owens, that dude, all right? Okay. So let me just break down some things right now. And as far-fetched as they may seem, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. We live in the mouth of the beast. We are highly, highly lied to and manipulated. And Satan made such a big deal about conspiracy, so I have to be careful. But please just hear me. Let me tell you what's going on with it. There is a narrative that is being written right out in front of us. And when very, very, very intelligent, well-spoken, even attractive people who are highly, highly opinionated and are spiritually, demonically possessed, so when they do their content, it's very engaging, and it's highly opinionated, it's slanderous, it's off the wall, and we can do things like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, this Wilson fellow, okay? Andrew Wilson, you name it, okay? What the Lord is showing me, I'm just going to show you what God has shown me. You don't have to believe it at all. The Lord has shown that the Antichrist recently risen from the pit, a massive spirit risen from the bottomless pit, who is causing a mass spiritual shift and dominating bashing on the earth right now, preparing for great destruction, okay? When this beast rose, I had some encounters with him in a way I didn't recognize it, but I think most people in the world would, because he's a dominating Antichrist beast. The way he came and attacked me is like a time that I was doing witchcraft and I was having sex with demons, and he defiled me. He called himself Jesus and all this nasty stuff. If you want to know my story, you can go watch it on many different podcasts. Just look my name up, Wyatt Coats, on YouTube. Whatever. But there are some revelations that I have had about the great defiled man, the Antichrist spirit, who he is and what he is, and a big part of his image. And I want to break this down a little bit right now so you can understand, okay? Quickly, let me explain to you what different columns you will have when it comes to the way that the devil presents himself to mankind. You have manifested spirit, so a spirit that can manifest itself physically. So this is the shapeshifter. This is the spirit who is invisible, and whenever he wants, he can turn himself into anything he wants. And this is the Jim Carreys and many others. Okay, and a shapeshifter. This is Lucifer, and this is many other. Heath Ledger is one of them. Heath Ledger is Raphael. Heath Ledger, the new Spider-Man kid, and then that dude that sings that song Daylight. It's like I love it and I hate it at the same time. All those dudes are, I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care. That's Raphael. Raphael's a fake fallen angel name filled with pride. He's not a biblical angel, and he's this fallen angel, and he's a seducer of the whole world. Shapeshifter, okay? Shapeshifter. This is why we have these people that look like exactly the same when you put their side-by-sides together. Everything's the same, but it's how could they change? That's the part, and it's because they take on a specific character trait and they just change it in many different ways. So you'll find Heath Ledger. If you watch Heath Ledger and the new Spider-Man kid, and then there's a couple others too, and you'll see it. You guys will see it. It's oh, this is the same person. And if you meditate on it, you'll see it. It's oh, it's a spirit. It's a shapeshifter, right? Okay, so let me keep going here. So you have the manifested spirit, then you have Nephilim, a Nephilim, right? Nephilim is a physical body that a demon was born into. So a true Nephilim is like all demon. There's no man in there. There's nobody inside that body that thinks he's a normal man. It's all devil, born just to deceive the world, bred by Lucifer. Lucifer picks all the best genes and breeds demons, and these are like your Tom Cruises and your Shia LaBeoufs. These are Nephilim. Okay. Jim Carrey is a shapeshifter of Lucifer himself. Okay, and so you have manifested spirits, you have Nephilim, and then you have this other thing that's called the defiled man. Does this make sense? So you have the principality, the fallen angel who's able to do infinite things beyond your imagination, and he just picks all these characters and he spends a lot of time manifesting ideas of like the most attractive or the most funny or the most easily followed people. Dudes like Donald Trump, and his character is like extremely addictive, and people like to make fun of him, and they use his aneurysms and make fun of him. So the devil breeds people like this, and between just shape-shifting into them or birthing them through ritual into a body, okay, which is done in the lodge, or it's also done in a lot of witchcraft covens, a lot of the occult, in government facilities, I believe with all my heart, Lucifer is breeding Nephilim. Okay, and then you have what's called the defiled man. That's where the Antichrist has been hatched, is in this defiled man. What is the defiled man? The defiled man is someone who took rap like way too serious. So while all these master Mason Jews were just mocking the goyim and the godless people of the world and just giving them crap and making up, like, dude, hip hop is just all this stuff, guys. I'm sorry. I know there's people so obsessed with it, but it was all designed by Luciferian powerful people in secret to build a temple in your heart for their gods. 50 Cent, I don't care. When we stand before the living God, he'll testify on my behalf. I've seen it with all my heart. 50 Cent's not a gangster at all, and he never was. Okay? He's a breed. He's a like half Nephilim, half shapeshifter dude, but he was none of that. He was bred. He was bred for his look, for his shape, for his voice, for his story, and it was all just to create a generation of people who are happy to kill each other because of the music they're listening to, okay? And we're talking millions and millions and millions of people indulging in sin, bro, because of what these singers and actors are doing. It's just, don't tell me they're not the devil. Like, you got to hear me. The defiled man is one of them who took things too seriously. So again, you have all these groups of people. They get together and they're like, all right, let's pump out all this music to defile the nation. Okay, we're putting out an algorithm. We're going to cause debates over here. We're going to cause Republican versus Democrat here. We're going to put out the Tesla right on time. We're going to have short form content become a thing. And you have groups of people that are very powerful, and they're just pumping out the narrative of the world. And they plan it all first. They do nothing off the top of their head. It is all done through lots of planning, lots of generational curses, like lots of master Mason, Luciferian, ritualistic power, okay? Even this whole thing with like Epstein coming out into the public, all very, 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 very articulated and planned. None of it is any sort of exposure that was out of their control ever, never, okay? The great defiled man is someone who listened to the music or watched the movies or played the guitar, and he went, I'm going to give my everything to this. And then he watched dudes like Led Zeppelin or Marshall Mathers, and he was like, I want to be like them. And they spend their whole life, and then they put work into it, and they try to do it, and they're pretty good. They're kind of not, they're gifted, but they're fighting. Then all of a sudden, Next thing you know, this concept of selling their soul comes to their mind. And they're like, dude, I don't even care. I don't even believe in God. I'm going to do. And they start putting out music that causes people to sin. They start putting out a couple songs that is like that you play in the club or have sex to or kill somebody to. Tons of very vulgar things talking about penises and vagina, more than you can think of. And that's like all music talks about, dang it. Bumping and grinding sex, sex outside of marriage, murder, killing, adultery, fornication, covetousness. Right when the man breaks any sort of morality and says, you know what, okay, I'll play a role, at a certain point, he will be approached by a group of people. And these people will very highly, manipulatively convince him to do a series of rituals and sacrifices. They'll come to him with tons of wealth. They'll come to him with proof that they can make him famous. They'll come to him with deep secrecy and very powerful conviction or seduction, proving to him, like they'll prove to him that they can make him famous in every way. And so they'll get this man seduced. They'll get this man to defile himself. They'll get this man to cross every boundary in his heart that he is not supposed to cross. Things like doing things with children, sacrificing babes, sacrificing, like betraying someone he loves very heavily, certain drugs and using them and breaking family, like all in a ritualistic pattern because they need to break his humanity, okay? This guy, this is the great defiled man. This is the Marilyn Manson, right? Marilyn Manson's a great defiled man. He's somebody who this entire time was not making his own decisions. He sold himself. He crossed a line that the Lord our God has basically spoken. God has commanded the devil to create something, and God says, okay, if they do this, this, and this, and they do it with all their heart, and they defile, and they rape my kids, and then I will let Satan burn their spirit, mark them, and I will never forgive them, even if like it's the mark of the beast, okay? And this is the early stages of it. So, in my honest opinion, I believe Marshall Mathers is a great defiled man. I believe Marilyn Manson is in the column of great defiled man. I believe our vice president right now is in the column of great defiled man. And I believe that guy that, let me get his name again, Andrew Wilson, that just debated what's-her-face, is also in the column of great defiled man, okay? Let's talk about why I set these guys apart and like what sort of evidence that I have, or at least things that I'll just show you what God has showed me, okay? Give me 1 second. Okay, so some of these are going to be kind of silly. Like one specifically is going to be silly, but before I started full-time ministry, okay, God has me doing so much in this thing. One of the hardest things about the position he's got me in right now is like how much he does have me do, and then just doesn't have me talk about it or show it in any way. It's very, very intense for me. But before I was in full-time ministry, I was in my shop just a couple years ago, and I had recently been baptized in the Holy Spirit. I had repented from deep Antichrist, powerful, manipulative defilement rituals and witchcraft. Okay, deep levels of it. And I had just repented from that. I just had an encounter with Jesus Christ. Okay, and I'm in my shop in Rifle, Colorado, my boss's shop, and every morning in the shop we would pray together. Okay, and when we would pray in the mornings, we'd all get together, I'd bow my head, And I've been having visions, dude. I've been prophesying. I lost my mind. When God encountered me, dude, I just went nuts. It was like, it was a real transformation, a very evident one. And like, I've led so many people to Jesus since then because I've just been smashed. But I started having all these visions. I had a vision of Donald Trump. I'll show you the vision I had of him real quick. Let's see here. I can't tell you really everything Donald Trump did, but dang it, man, where's that picture? Goodness gracious, dude. All right, well, whatever. I didn't know what I'm going to talk about, but I have this photo of Donald Trump. He's under some underground, it's like an AI picture. But when I saw the picture, it blew my mind, guys, because it's exactly what I saw in the vision. You have Baal, B-A-A-L, this bull god, sitting on a throne. He's roughly anywhere from like 15 feet to 25 feet tall, sitting on this throne. And then you have Donald Trump bowing before him, and they're like underground somewhere. It's dingy. There's like candles lit in the corners, and it's this actual like throne, this big 15 to 25 foot God is sitting on it, and Donald Trump is bowing before him. When I saw that AI picture, it wrecked me because I had a vision of Donald Trump doing that. But it was way, 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 way worse, bro. What I saw was a breakdown of two sacrificial, powerful, really drawn out rituals he did, and he offered them to the Antichrist. Not to Baal, not to Odin, not to Thor, and not even to Lucifer. He caught on to some devil, started speaking to his ear, and he went sacrificing to some demon all these others don't know about, and it paid off, okay? And this ritual is just sick and disgusting. It had to do with him. So what the Antichrist devil wanted was he wanted 7 bodies. Each one of these bodies was a specially picked person that the devil wanted, the Antichrist wanted, from the Christian faith, from Catholicism, from Mormonism, from the 5 Abrahamic religions, the main ones, okay? And then from, I think one was like a Buddhist and a Jew, and there were 7 of them. And these were these were all people prominent in some way in those religions. And keep in mind, he had to do this twice. He did this in America and in Israel. Like, I saw this whole breakdown. When I saw it, guys, I wasn't trying to see it. I was just worshiping God. And next thing I know, I see this whole thing. And to sum it all up, he has this bucket of defiled things that he secreted from the killing of these people and causing them to do really, really bad things. He stacks them up like a star. 7 bodies high. He cuts them open, drinks from the bucket, dumps the bucket onto what he just cut open, has sex with this pile of sacrificial bodies. And then after he does it, he goes and bows before a throne, okay? And sitting on this throne, I will show you who was sitting on the throne, okay? And I can break all this down. If you are willing to sit around for a minute and just talk with me, dude, I can help you understand like why I'm about to show you what I'm going to show you, okay? Okay, so sitting on the throne was a version of this character, but instead of the suit he's wearing, he was wearing a robe of deep blue and black and white in color I've never seen before. It was royalty and strength and power. His shoulders broad. He had a rod. He was very mighty. It was this dude but a beautiful, majestic, very vicious, very fearful, very royal version of him. This is who was sitting on that throne. Art the Clown. A version of Art the Clown. It was him. It was him. Art the Clown is only a character of the Antichrist. He's only a feeling bubbling inside his guts. So if you want to know how dark he is, I'll get into that, okay? It was Art the Clown. Okay? Okay. So that's what I saw of Donald Trump, and it wrecked me. Wrecked me, guys. I would go to work, and I'd come home every day. I would make sure everybody's taken care of, my kids, everything, and I would go down. My wife's family had all this ranch. It's like 2 miles of just trees, and I would go where no one can hear me in what's called the creek bottom, and I would just, dude, like, I'd strip butt naked. I'd lose control of myself. I'd be screaming, weeping. I'd be prophesying. I would worship God at the top of my lungs. I'd roll in dirt. I'd be baptized in the river, dude. It was just, I even had visions of the whole crucifixion of Jesus Christ. I was bare naked. I could feel his burden. I could feel his vulnerability. I saw Jesus carrying the cross, ripped it to shreds, bare naked, and they mocked him. During these days while I was worshiping God early on in my baptism, dude, of the Holy Spirit, it was just filled with insane things that have changed my entire life. I pour out the love that I encountered early on in those days every single night with all of my heart, still to this day. And I'm getting more on fire every single day since then. This is why you see me screaming on the internet. It comes out of my real heart. Like, I'm really in love with God and broken, and I'm devastated, and I don't know how to explain everything going on in my mind and head, but it's intense, guys, okay? So I have this whole vision with Donald Trump, okay? I go to work. We're praying in the morning. I'm not thinking about nothing. I'm kind of excited to be at work, man. You know, worship God all day, give him my whole day. I've been worshiping him all morning, and I bow my head to pray with my boss, and while we pray, I see a interview of Donald Trump. I just see it, the most clear vision I can describe, as if you bow your head, and then all of a sudden, you're just in the interview room. I can still hear my boss praying, but I'm sucked into part of my spirit is in the interview room, literally watching this interview of Donald Trump. And then also at the exact same time, I can hear my boss, it was this crazy crossover thing. I started experiencing real visions, okay? And while Donald Trump is speaking, what God did is he allowed Donald Trump's skin to become transparent or spiritually transparent. It was see-through. And inside of him, inside of Donald Trump, okay, was a man that was a perfect mixture of a couple of the people I'm going to show you next, okay? So, it was taking all these people and making or I don't know how to explain it. Honestly, so this was the man that was inside Donald Trump speaking out of Donald Trump. So I'm having this vision, and there's somebody inside the person of Donald Trump saying every word for him. And it was this guy. But not in full completion, because he was a little bit more attractive than this guy. And a little bit thinner, okay? So it was also, I don't know how to explain it, okay? But just hear me. It was all these people put together. It was also this guy. This guy right here is the lead singer. is Spencer Charnes. He's the lead singer to a band called Ice Nine Kills. Coincidentally enough, Ice Nine Kills has multiple albums that's obsessive about specific horror movies and specific serial killers, one of them being Art the Clown. So that is the band right here, and that's Art the Clown. Okay, because he literally has a song. What is it called? Art to Kill, I think it is. It's called Art to Kill. So the person that looks like the man that was inside of Donald Trump speaking, okay, that looks like him the most out of anybody else I have ever seen, ever, okay, is this man right here, Spencer, from the lead singer of Ice Nine Kills, okay? But, and I just want you to notice, like, the specific beard, okay? Look at the beard. Think about our vice president and his beard, okay? Think about, and when I saw this vision of this man that was like this perfect mix between the lead singer of Ice Nine Kills, Spencer, and our vice president, and then a couple other people, there was a specific highlight on his beard. I don't know why, but when I saw it, like I heard the Lord say, pay attention to the beard, his shape, his structure, finely shaved beard. And like the Lord's like, pay attention to that. It's important. And for like a year, I was like, what is up with the beard? Why this beard? What is up with this beard? And I just couldn't figure it out until God put it all together for me. So let me show you someone else who all of a sudden grows the beard and calls himself the Antichrist. Okay? So, hang on. That is Marshall Mathers, Eminem. If you notice, he has a beard. Okay? And the song is specifically called Antichrist. And he calls him, he's like, I'm the Antichrist. Okay? But it's odd because Eminem always had like blonde hair and shaved face. Always. But then all of a sudden, like right around the first the first Donald Trump era of presidency, he's growing this beard. Right around the time we hear about Pence, our vice president, Ice Nine Kills just becomes a band that's like starting to gain traction. Okay. And then also the guy that just did the what was his name? The guy that just did the debate with Candace Owens. Let me look that up again just to show you, so you guys kind of start seeing it, and I'll explain it. Just I know it seems silly, but just let me explain this, okay? Andrew Wilson.
is always going to be, if we consider patriarchy to be the dominance of men, that's an
And the man that I saw sitting inside of Donald Trump speaking had that beard, barely peppery, like he was just old enough to have a couple white hairs, and comb over black hair. And he looks like this guy, Andrew Wilson. He looks like our vice president. He looks like the lead singer of Ice Nine Kills. He looks like Eminem when Eminem grows a beard. And there's others, okay? So what God starts revealing to me is what the great defiled man is. And that's the one who manifests the Antichrist, okay? So if you knew anything about deep masonry or witchcraft, okay, they've been summoning demons for a long time, guys. They've figured out how to open portals and pull demons from the pit. And this is like, honestly, a lot of people who work at like Walmart and stuff are shape-shifting spirits that master Luciferians have this illusion of authority over. Think about it. If you in deep ritualistic magic was able to summon some demon from the pit, and this thing was able to shape-shift itself into 15 different people, and all of the time put on a great smile as a waiter or someone who works at Walmart, and this person is just constantly doing powerful witchcraft and mind control on everybody who comes into the store, and you don't have to pay him nothing because you just summoned him from the pit and you're forcing him to do it. That's what they do. They're summoning demons from the pit, and they're sacrificing sacrificing people to the devil. And over the last couple hundred years, they've been doing the most defiled, broken stuff you can fathom. But I am going to reveal to you right now, guys, who the Antichrist actually is, okay? And let me show you some of his faces. Let me show you some of his faces, okay? And I'll explain it. Let me show you his first face, okay? Okay. All right, so this is his first face. The floor specifically, okay? The floor specifically. The checkered board, black and white floor. What this is a concept of God. They give and they take. It's balance. It's do as thou wilt, for this shall be the whole of the law. If you want to murder and kill people, do it. If you want to be a good guy, do it. You can't have Batman without the Joker. You can't have the Green Goblin without Spider-Man. And Spider-Man wouldn't be such a hero without the Green Goblin. So they don't judge. They say balance. So what they've done is they've created this new thing. And it was all just a little bit of the skin of the Antichrist coming through from the pit, okay? Let me keep showing you some of his faces, okay? So notice Art the Clown, black and white checkerboard, black and white makeup, black and white face, okay? Scream, black and white serial killer, black and white face. Kiss, black and white makeup, black and white face, just another variation of it, okay? I saw a vision recently of a group of literal people, and they were creating these characters. When they created these characters, they were taking all their deep concepts of the gods they worship in the Masonic Lodge, and they were writing these characters and summoning demons to fulfill these characters. Art the Clown is not just something someone wrote. It's something that the lodge summoned and produced, okay? Okay? And this is why we are, like, guys, if you look at things according to the Bible, we are defiling ourselves by worshiping these devils, bro. And just let me keep going. Let me keep going, okay? Because I got more. insane clown posse? Isn't Art the Clown also black and white? Okay, so Antichrist. Okay. There is many principalities that rule this earth, but I'm revealing to you one of them right now. I'm revealing to you the Antichrist spirit right now. Okay. What else do we got? Okay, so this one is a little different, okay, but it's because it's got the green and the red, but it also fits into, because I just told you about Batman and the Joker, how that's the black and white, how that story's written based off Masonic ritualistic ideas, okay? So Joker is also Antichrist spirit, okay? All right, so those are some of his faces, okay? But let me show you a few more of his faces. Let's just keep going. So all of a sudden, all at the same time where these characters start coming out of nowhere, we have people like this. This is, okay, he grows the beard and he literally makes a song and calls himself the Antichrist, okay? After growing the beard though. He never said that before, but then he grows the beard and because a demon has summoned from the pit, and anyone and everyone who has already sold their soul is fully devoured. And I'm talking about the defiled man. I'm talking about a group of people who took life too seriously, and they are specifically what is called the defiled man. There is shapeshifters, Nephilim, and then these ones who sold their soul and they've been tortured into their career. I believe Marshall Mathers was forced into doing everything he ever did. I believe when he was rapping after he sold his soul, I believe the level of when he sold his soul that we were being mocked by the Masonic Lodge guys is unthinkable. I believe he literally became a mouthpiece, but they kept him in there to endure deep pains. I believe that he was defiled in ways you can't fathom. I believe more blood is on his hands than you can imagine. I believe when he's not on camera and not making music, that he is literally being tortured in ways that is just unfathomable. I also believe that about the singer of Ice Nine Kills, okay? If you look into this guy, he has this like specific, he has like this specific obsession with like horror movies. Jason, things like, he's got things like the Joker and Art the Clown and Scream and all these, okay? Horrorwood is what you call it. Here's one. Here's a cover. Ice Nine Kills with the pyramid right there. This is literally their band. Like it says Ice Nine Kills going on with Hollywood Undead and Asking Alexandria. Okay, so it's Masonic highly. Okay. I believe the band Kiss and everything about the band Kiss is the great defiled man. I believe every one of those guys sold themselves. They weren't Nephilim. They weren't shapeshifters. These were dudes who took life too seriously, and they did very wicked things, and they gave full control over to the lodge, and the lodge is using them like puppets to mock the earth. Okay, that's what I believe. But I don't believe every famous person's like that. I believe these ones that represent this same spirit over and over and over. Okay, because again, the vision I had of the man who was inside Donald Trump speaking literally looked like a perfect mixture between the lead singer of Ice Nine Kills and our vice president, along with the dude who just did that debate. Okay, if you listen to the thing, it's I don't know, Lord, there's more you wanted me to say, or I wanted to say about this just a few moments ago, but I'm feeling warfare right now, and I'm drawing a blank, and there was something very powerful to round this up. So maybe you're holding it in, but one way or another, guys, okay, the Bible says that the end times, the last days, the flight, the tribulation will not start until after the revealing of the man of perdition. And I believe the way that Antichrist demon exalts himself through the image of man is not through a shape-shifted image like Lucifer does, is not through Nephilim like Baal does, but is through the defiled man like the Antichrist does. And he's going to take these people and he will use the Masonic lodge to manipulate them. And when they sell their soul, they get tortured. So think about it. Think about like Marilyn Manson while he's singing on stage. What if somehow the people who are forcing the guy into doing what he's doing are able to pierce him with pain to where when he's singing, you're literally being hit with his pain, forcing lust through him. So when he's singing, you're literally being hit with lust. Same way with Eminem. So it's the defilement of man that is crushing the nation. Okay, what did you just show me, Lord? It's just a second ago. Okay, so now it says that the dragon gives all of his authority to the beast. Okay. And I saw a vision and many visions to help me understand this and how this is manifesting right now. I'm just going to say it. You guys can do what you want. God has shown me many times that Jim Carrey is a shapeshifter. In fact, I've literally had like his spirit come here and be forced to break down what he's doing. And it's so defiled, dude. The devil is unfathomably in more lust and pain and rage than anyone can imagine. He is literally more like an animal. Okay. But he is a massive power shapeshifter and he is able to manipulate people powerfully. So what the Lord has showed me is that there is a free society running the earth, and the leader of that free society is none other than Jim Carrey. But it's not Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey truly is just a character. And this is why Jim Carrey, the man, is always saying that. He's like, oh, I feel like even Jim's just a character, because he's putting it right in your face. But Jim Carrey is their leader. When I was doing witchcraft, God showed me a vision of Jim Carrey and Keanu Reeves. If you go and watch a bunch of interviews with Jim Carrey and Keanu Reeves, you're going to see it's the same guy. Jim Carrey is represented as the white, the light, the bright. Every vision I've had of him in the free world, he's wearing the brightest white clothing ever. And then with Keanu Reeves, he's wearing the blackest clothing. I used to do witchcraft and I would be sent on assignments to manipulate people using the name of Jesus. And I didn't know that the whole time it was literally Jim's spirit and Keanu's spirit behind me. So not even that long ago, I had a full vision. God took me back to one of the moments where I was seducing this woman powerfully. She was a billionaire in Aspen, Colorado. And God took me back, and behind me was a little, like small, Jim Carrey wearing the brightest white. And right next to him was Keanu Reeves wearing the darkest black. And I saw Jim Carrey look over at Keanu Reeves and while he's just staring at me. And he's like, I'm going to give him everything. This one right here. And I was literally following my demons to Aspen, Colorado. And I went there on an assignment and very powerfully seduced a woman who was a billionaire. And I got her to give her job site up to me, everything, all just by doing what the devil told me to do. Okay, so while I'm having this vision of me going back, it's Jim Carrey and Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves represents the darkness of Lucifer, and Jim represents the light of Lucifer. And it's like left eye, right eye, okay? So every vision I have of Jim Carrey, he has a group of people with him all the time, and these people call him daddy. Jim Carrey's like his favorite character. For whatever reason, it's this very well-rounded person that can be very beautiful if needed, that can be very funny if needed, very serious, very lustful, very jokingly, very crude dude. Jim's actually a very crude dude. If you look into some of his stuff, he's very crude, very lustful, and if so, his name it's JC, just like Jesus Christ. Okay, on Christmas when we're supposed to be worshiping Jesus, we're watching movies where he does the voice of it, like the Grinch. Okay, he also does the voice of Horton Hears a Who, and Horton Hears a Who is literally a childrenized version of the story of Lucifer. Lucifer, the rebel of great mighty heaven, rebelled in heaven to save mankind. Like literally, it's literally Lucifer. Okay, so I saw visions where when Jim Carrey's inviting people into this selling your soul, becoming a shapeshifter, receiving all that Lucifer can offer. Sometimes when it's kids that are part of these royal families, he will show them the movie Horton Hears a Who and explain to him that he is Lucifer and that he loves them and that Adonai does not love them and that God wanted bad for them, and he received lots of pain, and he fought, and he saved earth, and he is the God of earth, and he's doing his best to bring us joy, and he's found out that balance is the best thing that works for us, and he says, do as thou wilt. He says, I'll direct it, do as thou wilt. If you want to go kill, if you want, and only royal societies are the ones who get to do as thou wilt. The rest of us are held to the Constitution, okay? So like judges, do as thou wilt. And they're part of the lodge and they're masters. Just hear me, okay? If Lucifer was the god of this earth, wouldn't he be the most worshipped, most laughed at, most adored people? So God showed me that Lucifer is not also only just Jim Carrey and Keanu Reeves, but there's a handful of like actors that we grew up with that he shapeshifts it, dude. I saw visions of people hundreds of years ago that were part of these royal families that were hanging out with Jim, bro. And he would take his hand and he would put it in front of them and they would literally watch modern television hundreds of years ago through his hand. He would pull it up and they would watch stories and Jim would tell stories as his shape-shifting hand. Guys, as we're watching TV at night, we are literally worshiping the devil. This is the image of the beast. This is the shapeshifter right in our lives, okay? I saw it. I know I say that a lot, guys. I know I say I saw it. I know I say I'm consumed with visions. I know I say I have visions. Please hear me because I'm wrecked. I'm wrecked, dude. I'm going to die for this, guys. I'm going to die a bloody one, I hope. Because, dude, they are bleeding out my brothers and sisters right now. This isn't just some conspiracy to me, dude. This is real to me. I know the Antichrist because he pried my mouth open, bro, and acted like Jesus Christ in my life. I know who he is. It was Art the Clown the whole time, dude. I know how insane I sound, but you need to hear me. I didn't know who Art the Clown was, but I had this God in my life that was white and black face, but this beautiful, destructive variant of Art the Clown. And I'm trying to tell you, the devil that's the most powerful is the one who can use the name of Jesus. And this one called himself Jesus. He called himself my Lord. He showed me this very scary face one time that rocked me, dude. And he said, my enemies are going to see this. And it was a vicious, violent, destructive version of Art the Clown. Much more scarier, bro. It stole my soul, dude. I was hanging out with the Antichrist, okay? Okay, so let's keep going. The defiled man. Okay, Jim Carrey gets you to sell your soul. You climb the ranks of Freemasonry. Dude, guys, it's literally Truman Show. There's so many people who are living through Truman Show right now, living in small towns and parts of the city where like every one of your friends is a master mason. All the parties you go to is a ritual on your life. You're an offering. This is what's going on in the world right now. So anyways, you become a master mason. You ascend to the highest. You go up the ladder and you finally face Lucifer. And he says, look, I don't expect you to sell yourself over someone who won't show his face like Jesus. He's like, here I am. And then once he sinks his teeth into their neck and they receive this eternal mark, right after that, He says, all right, now that we did all that, he says, let's go have all the fun. Let's go do all the fun stuff. So he takes these people to go do orgies. He takes these people to demonically possess the rest of the masses. He takes these people, he's like, you can have sex with anybody you want. He's like, just shapeshift to the people that are having sex with them. Like, and he takes these people, and it's literally Jim Carrey and Keanu Reeves, bro. So a lot of these like goth chicks covered in tattoos who just sold their soul, they kind of took the Keanu Reeves route. And a lot of these other people who are like super funny and joking and they're leading the world in that way, or sexual and beautiful, they kind of took the Jim Carrey route. Like, and you can do both. You can come and go. You can do whatever you want. It's black and white, right? And so, but Jim has been ruling the rest of the world, and he takes it very, very seriously, okay? And he is the god of the defiled man. So when someone sells their soul, he has all these Luciferians with him that he's having orgies with and sex with and teaching them to be gods and running the earth with, these master masons. And I've seen visions of it, of dudes like Eminem. We're going to talk about Eminem specifically. I've seen Eminem. Eminem, when the cameras are off, when he's not recording music or on stage, he has literally Lucifer and a bunch of the free world doing the worst things to him, torturing him, prodding him, poking him, shoving things into him, finding new ways to put things in him to hurt him, dude. And everything he has done has been full demonic master mason projection onto the world. And that whole time, Jim Carrey, Lucifer, is just losing his mind. He knows his time is coming up. He's trying to defile the masses. He's trying to make it look like it's fun and games to all these others, so they keep on following him and doing what he wants. And so while he's doing that, and he's got these defiled men, dudes like Marilyn Manson, Eminem, ICP, the band Kiss, there's others, okay? These ones that they're not a shapeshifter, they're not of power. They took the short end of the straw, and they're the ones being defiled as we worship them, okay? I saw Jim Carrey being so devastating, looking for something to satisfy him in the deepest ways. And while they're poking and prodding dudes like Eminem over and over and over, there's one time, and the people who are doing it are like getting turned on by it, and they think it's funny, and they love it when these dudes, these defiled ones, are in pain, lots of pain. And there's something that they get turned on about when doing this, okay? I saw this vision, and this helps me understand everything. While they're all doing that, Jim Carrey's kind of pacing the room. And they're hurting this specific person who is like, we'll call him Eminem. But there's a little thing he hears in Eminem's voice that's like, wait, did you just like that? You know, did you just like what they're doing to you? Because it's vicious tortures, bro. And all these other ones, they can't see it, but Lucifer's in everybody's mind, and he saw it. And you can just picture it while he's bent over, being tortured in various ways that is just unthinkable. He winks at Lucifer. So what goes through Lucifer's head at this moment is, oh, you sicko. You love it. The beast gave all of his authority to the defiled man. That spirit is Antichrist. So the one who's ruling the world, this spirit that they summon from the pit, he is so venomously addicted to torture that he acts like a sweet little target to come defile because he is so thirsty for pain. He had torture in the pit of hell, and now he can't seem to find that. The devil took all of his power, all of his strength, and all of authority, and just because he's got nothing, no other heir that's a better offer, he's going to give it to the defiled man. And I know as sick and as nuts as everything I just said, guys, that's what's happening right now, and the world worships these people. and behind the scenes, the stuff that's going on that God is showing me, dude, you can't make this crap up, dude. Like, you can't make this up, dude. I saw them, these group of free world people that are learning how to shapeshift with Lucifer and having these long orgasmic experiences, literally with these shapeshifters, okay? I'm seeing them use half the people we worship like a puppet. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a Nephilim defiled man. He's a Nephilim who acts like a defiled man. But the trick is he's actually in all of them, making them do all the torturous defilements to him, and the ones doing it don't know it. He is an ancient spirit that acts like a defiled man, but he's actually a Nephilim. That's what God showed me. The Lord also showed me and there's just, dude, it's intense. It's just really intense. It's intense. Lord, please keep guiding the conversation. If there's other things you want me to talk about, help me to understand, help me to see, help me to explain it, because it's just too much for me and it's wrecked me. So I saw the group of people. They basically have this like very powerful description of what the lodge experience is and what their standards are, like what the black and white checkerboard means, like what the pillars are, what Lucifer is, what the all-seeing eye is, and they live by this standard. And when they create these characters like Art the Clown and you name it, Scream, ICP, Kiss, they're taking the seduction of this Antichrist spirit and they're producing it into our lives, and it's ruling us because we worship them. We love them. And so what I see is that Antichrist spirit is in the Trumpster, bro. And he speaks through him. And so when Trump comes and goes, it's from this moment on, the world leading figures are the Antichrist. I can't go to the Bible and like but in full completion, when I go to this book, I'm trying to make it all make sense. I'm like, God, you gotta prove this to me, because I grew up with Tim LaHaye's Left Behind series, and this just is not that, right? So he's been breaking it down and he's helping me see it, and he's showing me, dude, and it is in there. I tell you, bro, we are in these last days. The defiled man runs the earth. The mark of the beast runs the earth. His name is 666. He's 6 feet tall. You bury him 6 feet deep. During COVID, you stand 6 feet apart. It's man. So it can't be the shapeshifter and it can't be the Nephilim. It's going to be one who sells his soul. And that's where the mark of the beast comes from. Okay? So we have a principality who is insanely obsessed with pain, and he's up from the pit. You need to understand, not obsessed with pain. He is in more pain when he's not in pain than you are when you are. Like shove metal rods of glowing iron in this man's orifices, and that makes him feel relaxed. He is the most disgusting, foul, unclean beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, Antichrist, disgusting, foul creature who calls himself Jesus and murders kids all around the world and defiles this earth in ways that is shameful to speak about, unthinkable, unimaginable, unclean. He's the God of all fallen gods. He's the Lord of all fallen lords. He's the Epstein of all Epstein Islands. He's the God over Baal and Odin and Thor. All those gods have submitted to him. This thing is so foul, and Lucifer gave all of his authority and all power to this unclean thing who has no purpose but to eat his meal and go back to his hole, dude. And so right now we are going to see things go faster and faster and faster. It's going to be this unsettling, unimaginable mix of destruction in the world and peace and safety all at the same time. We're going to have dude, another warning God wants me to tell the world, especially Christians. Friends are going to start deceiving you bad. People you trusted deeply are going to break your hearts more than ever. Christians who both love God, the devil's going to fight really hard to get us to not agree and slander each other more than ever. Denominations are going to sprout up way more than ever, to the point of turning Christianity into this big waste of time that needs to be confronted publicly. It's going to get to a point where there's going to be a form of godliness that everyone's okay with, a form of Christianity that everyone's okay with. But anybody who in their own time is looking at Jesus saying, Lord, you forgave me, let's go lead people to you, they're going to be looked at like a problem, and your life is going to be broken in ways that's not normal persecution, guys. The persecution that's going to happen to you is going to happen to you in a way where everything's always your fault, and everyone around you is always going to think it's your fault. You're the one accused. You're the one who failed. You're the one with the problem. You're the one who needs to go. It's going to be, dude, the persecution in these last days, dude, is going to be so difficult to deal with. Because it won't be like old school persecution where you get to die with honor and like Paul gets stoned to death because he's preaching Jesus. We're going to have that in the world, but we're also going to have something, this long, drawn out, tedious tapping on your forehead of persecution in a way where the devil's getting your friends to come against you, your families to look down on you. And then they're going to break you in ways where you're going to make decisions that are bad. So we need to focus on the Lord heavy. Some of you are going to go to prison and some of you will die. Some of you will be honored in front of man and God. All of you will be honored in front of the Lord if you pick Jesus Christ and accept the forgiveness of your sins. But the days are over. They are over. They are over. Okay, right now, officially, the Antichrist is here. Right now, officially, it's now. Right now, officially, the devil has given all authority to the beast. And right now, officially, I have seen a command from heaven where God has says, go get my kids. So there's this process that's happening right now, and it is unfolding right now, guys. I am telling you, it's now. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. It is now. Okay? Okay? It's now. It's now, and more than ever, you need to get alone with the Lord more than ever. And then when you get alone with him and you start hearing his voice, focus on getting people together in friendship and love and serving God in unity. There is going to be many Christian type people who get very famous, guys, very famous, and they are the defiled man. Okay, I'm telling you, there's this wave of Christianity that's going to come through, and it is people who took life too serious, and they defiled themselves in private, secretly, and Satan's going to use them to mock the rest of us. These are people who sold their soul, who are being tortured in pain, and they're going to be the most beautiful, wonderful Christians, preaching in the best ways, but for whatever reason, no matter how many messages you listen to, and no matter how many songs you sing, you just can't build the courage to go tell someone about God. You can't seem to get alone with Jesus. You can't seem to put your phones down. A form of godliness is being created, and it's being created through the Antichrist right now. Plus, on top of that, any compromise at all in your churches has to go immediately. You pastors hear me right now? You hear me right now? It needs to go immediately. If you have any compromise at all, the Antichrist will be the head of your church. Any compromise at all. If you are too afraid to teach your congregation how to share their faith, and so therefore you'll compromise and you'll say, you know what, I'll tell them it's a good thing to do. I'll encourage them. It's a good thing to do, but I won't teach them how because I'm afraid of getting sued. So many churches and their pastors have signed documents saying that exact same thing, that they won't teach exact hands-on steps because they're worried about getting sued if something bad happens. If that is you, pastors, if you've been talked into this, if this has been made sense to you, if your board meeting has come together and helped this make sense, and you're like, yeah, we'll just tell them it's a good thing to do. Tell them they need to go to their neighbors, but we'll never give them advice. You are compromised, and the Antichrist is running your church, okay? If you're teaching your congregation that sin in any way is okay, the Antichrist is running your church. If you are a denominational type of person and you're thinking that God accepts your denomination, but he's against theirs, the Antichrist is leading your church, okay? Because Jesus will scrap all doctrine if it means just focusing on the simple gospel and getting the broken to him. So if you are unwilling to let go of your understanding in order to lead the broken to Jesus Christ, the Antichrist is running your church. And I am not saying that you are condemned. I am just saying while you're compromised, the beast is running your church. He's running your church. And the devil is going to be more focused on the church than anything else, because these are the only ones he needs to deceive. And on top of that, he's got a little spark in his pants for Christian men who like to watch porn. Okay, it turns him on highly. He's looking forward to the day he pries your mouth open. Okay, he's looking forward to the day that he talks you guys into all the deceptions he's got planned directly for you. So, all right, that's it. Tonight is my last night. Tomorrow I'm going to MacArthur Park. I know I just scared the hell out of everybody, and I love you guys. Thank you for listening to me. It's a really tough thing for me to say the things I said, but I'm hoping that the Holy Spirit says them in a way that does two things: that gets those who love God to hear me and repent and serve the Lord at the fullness of their capabilities with love and tenderness and mercy, but also stumbles the enemy. I want them to hate me more. I want them to come against me more. I want them to try to physically attack me, because that's where we will see them get crushed, right? So anybody who hates God and has sold themselves, I'm trying to stumble them. I'm trying to make a control freak lose control. But at the same time, I'm trying to excite you guys in a way where it's like, dude, he might be onto something. Like, this is making sense, this spirit. So when you go to like Hot Topic and you see the pink and the black and all the darkness, that's a principality. When you look at the Republicans and Democrats, that's a principality, left and right. Okay, when you look at, they're going to hate me for this one. Another person that God showed me is a defiled man, Nephilim. So he's a demon born into the body of a man, acting like a man who sold his soul, while the whole time he's actually controlling the free world, the ones who's torturing him because he's thirsty for torture and he's just doing what he's told. This one's going to hurt. I'm going to get hated for this. It's Travis Pastrana, the dirt biker. Travis Pastrana is one of them. X Games, okay? Mark of the Beast, XXX. Extreme, mainstream. It's a stream from the breasts of the beast. It's all from him. So whether it's underground, that's the beast. Above ground, it's the beast. Mainstream, it's the beast. Extreme, it's the beast. It doesn't matter. The skateboard is literally a device created to steal everyone's days. It's the devil works backwards. So he creates something in its perfection. It's going to cause millions of people to devote all of their time to perfecting this thing that cannot be perfected, because it is endless what can be done with it. And then once he creates it, now he's got to get someone to invent it. Oh, put a stick on wheels. Okay, now add a fin to it. Okay, now we're in the Tony Hawk era. Now double nose. Okay, and it finally gets to where it is. But everything, like the BMX bike, the way it is right now, we're all working towards something that Satan has already invented and needs to get us to. When the television came out, that was only the ladder to get to the smartphone. When the internet came out, that was only the ladder to get to AI. It's not that mankind, these Masons, are coming up with new inventions and we're just blindly walking into the future. No. The Antichrist has already planned the end. He's working according to God's commands. And we're working right into the end of this. It's over, bro. It's over, y'all. It is time to go pick some broken person and you get them into the hands of Jesus Christ. Because up till today, most of us have been acting like an enemy to God. We've been acting against the Lord in our lukewarm brokenness, and we have picked Lucifer. How many more hours have you sat in front of Jim Carrey or Shia LaBeouf or Dwayne The Rock Johnson than you have Jesus? How many more hours have you spent intimately being poured out onto by sex and lust and adultery and covetousness and the enemy and his image and the beast? It's okay. Let me read something to you real quick. Okay, let me read something to you really quick that's going to hit kind of hard, okay? All right, I've showed this many times, but I just want to run this whole thing home about the Antichrist here, okay? About Lucifer. So this right here is a studio building. I'll read. It is Jimmy Kimmel Live. It is a Masonic temple that Jimmy Kimmel does his live show out of every single episode. And if you zoom in to this, and you go above it, there's letters up there. Let me read them to you, okay? It says this. It says, Freemasonry builds its temples among the nations and in the hearts of man, okay? They've built a temple in your heart, and they've done it through the image of the beast. And it is a temple for Lucifer, because Lucifer is the god of the Masonic Lodge, okay? John Wayne, Master Mason, Shriner. I'll show you another Mason Shriner who exalts Lucifer by name, okay? He calls him pure and virtuous, wholesome, and innocent individual out to help people. I guess I should just show you real quick, okay? So let me show you real fast.
Money for more. What happens in the family stays in the family when you send with Remitly.
Lucifer, what is your problem?
Just that, sir.
Okay.
I'm a Christian, sir.
One more time.
I'm pure and virtuous and wholesome and innocent. How can you say anything bad about me?
Sir, you need to be born again.
I am born again.
Now, did you just say that you were Lucifer?
I am Lucifer.
Okay, define Lucifer for me.
Pure, virtuous, wholesome, innocent individual that's out to help people.
Lucifer is?
Yeah.
Say that again. Lucifer is a pure, holy,
Virtuous.
virtuous. Now, is he the Lucifer that God created?
That's the same one.
Oh, man, this is great. I'm going to put this on the internet.
Oh,
Amen.
God bless you,
Amen.
brother.
Because that's exactly what the Shriners and Masons teach, is that Lucifer is light.
You see the hat?
This is what a Mason confesses, is that Lucifer is light.
Man, I'm cooking in here. It's hot. Who's that? And that John Wayne, American actor? And he got the same hat on? John Wayne's characters were always pure, virtuous, wholesome, innocent, individual, out to help people, a godly man, but never talks about Jesus. He may talk about God, but not Jesus, just like your dollar bill says, in God we trust, but not Jesus, okay? So if they're building a temple inside your hearts, and Lucifer's their God, then they have successfully, mightily, powerfully, insanely, unthinkably built a temple for Lucifer in the nations and the Antichrist. Okay, when God started revealing all this to me, remember, I was in the shop, working in a cabinet shop. I told you guys I had the vision of the Antichrist dude inside of Donald Trump in the shop. I heard God tell me, Wyatt, I'm going to use you to expose this. I'm going to use you to lead millions of people to Jesus Christ. He started speaking about a couple of very, very famous Christians that I looked up to. Okay, one of them named Isaiah Saldivar. The Lord put so much about Isaiah on my heart, and I believe eternally me and Isaiah are going to be brothers. But I did a podcast with Isaiah, okay? Finally, all this stuff comes through. And then right after I do a podcast with Isaiah, and I broke down the spirit of Antichrist entering a man. I talked about the lodge. I talked about the Antichrist going into the temple of God and claiming to be God. And I broke this down to Isaiah. He's now going on big churches all around the nation and preaching this revelation about the Antichrist. Guys, if that is not the Lord just mightily screaming at us, saying, I stand on what Wyatt's saying, I'm trying to get it out there, you need to listen. Dude, going from the shop, fulfilling prophecy, and getting into the hands of someone who can get it into the churches, it's a big deal, dude. It's a big deal. We are going home. We're going home, and blood will pour out. Dude, it is not good. God's violent rage, violence. Everyone just needs to step back, put on your white clothes like daddy wants you to, and everyone keeps their mouth shut while God handles business, because it will be violence, dude, unlike anything the world's ever seen. We will never question God ever again. We will never question his sovereignty. We will never question his glory. We will never question he is being in full control ever again. We'll never think we will mock anyone who ever questions God. We will not question him, because I tell you what's coming is going to make everyone who ever mocked and bashed God and questioned him oh, dude, we will never question the Lord again. We are going to sit here and watch him hammer fist this world into a bloody pulp. And then when it's over, he's going to say, okay, now we're going to sit down and have dinner. It's time to have dinner. Everybody's going to sit down because I love you. I gave my son for you. We've crushed the earth, and we're going to sit here for 1,000 years. And we're going to have dinner, and we're going to rule, and I'm going to show you guys what it would look like if you'd have just listened to God the whole time, okay? All right. I love y'all very much. Who should you fear? Jesus, our Lord, our Father, God in heaven. What should you not be afraid of? Satan, the enemy, the Masonic lodge, pain and death. Jesus is Lord, and he goes before you. Many of you will suffer. Many of you will be approached by dark men in a dark way and be forced to take a mark or not. And I plead with you guys, die in honor, die in pain. I hope you know that I'm dead with you. I hope you know I'm dead with you. I've given my all to this. And if anybody wants to come hang out with this crazy man and go to God's people and lead them to Jesus, I will be at MacArthur Park this Saturday, okay, in Los Angeles, California. And here, I'll show you right here, okay? This is MacArthur Park on a map. This is Alvarado Street right here. This is 6th Street right here. Meet me at the corner of 6th and Alvarado, right here. We're going to meet right here. This park is filled with homeless people, drug addiction, tent city, okay? We're going to meet right here on the corner of 6th and Alvarado at 12 o'clock noon this Saturday, August 26th, or 22nd. August 22nd, this Saturday, 12 noon, okay? We're going to pray with each other. I'm going to preach a little bit. We're going to worship God in the park. I'm going to bring a bunch of food and cash. We're going to feed everybody and bless everybody and lead them to Jesus. We're going to rip demons out of you, because I don't play no games, bro. Like, I rip demons out so violently, dude. Like, dude, we don't play games. People puke up blood and stuff. It's hardcore. But whether you manifest or not doesn't matter at all. It's that we tell that demon to go, and it's got to go, and now you live your new wonderful, glorious life, and that's it. I also want to say that a big reason is why our deliverance is so powerful is because we do it together. It's not just about me. I have everyone lay hands, and we all command the demons to come out, so it's way powerful. So if you guys want to be there, praise the Lord. If you don't, no big deal. Now, if anybody wants to bless this ministry, God has me do this every night, and I'm so glad I have, because we've been able to do mighty things because of it. If anybody wants to bless this ministry and help us financially, the Lord has provided this whole way. It is never a stress, never a worry, never. God is wonderfully, powerfully in control of all things. But if you would like to donate to this ministry or to feed the bellies or to be a part of this wonderful thing, okay, and thank you for your gifts on TikTok. That's a big deal too. Here's the ways to donate right here. I'm showing YouTube first. You can take a screenshot, and then I'll show TikTok second. So look, you have PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Chime, and Zelle. And as I explain every night, there is 2 Cash Apps, and that's because Cash App will only allow a couple donations at a time before they make you wait like 24 hours, okay? So if you try to send to Cash App and it doesn't work, send to the other Cash App, okay? Here you go, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Chime, and Zelle. All right, guys, I am sweating. It's hot in this shop. It's 10:30 at night. And I am heading to California tomorrow to do this event. And I just pray that the Lord opens up. Dude, it's time to go home. Like, viciousness is pouring out of me. Like, I'm going to scream it. I'm going to go lead everyone to Jesus. I'm going to give God my everything. He is turning me into a tool that he can use in any situation. He is filling me with glory and visions and the Holy Spirit in a way that's like biblical. I am blown out of my mind. I am wrecked spiritually. I am in love with my Father in heaven so deeply, guys. I have purpose. I have reason. And I just want to ignite your fire too. And I just want to share that with you. I love you guys. We'll see you August 22nd, Los Angeles, California. 12 o'clock noon at the corner of 6th and Alvarado at MacArthur Park. Love you in Jesus' name.